Here it is, the brand new Fire TV. We've got it here at Geekazine, and of course, we're going to compare it to not only the Apple TV, the Roku, but also the Chromecast, and we're going to do that next. Hey everybody, Jeffrey Powers here from Geekazine. Think magazine, put in a geek. You've got Geekazine. You can find me at geekazine.com. Geekazine@gmail.com is my email address, and you can Twitter me over at Geekazine. Today we're going to be taking a look at the boxes, the over-the-top television, set-top boxes, streaming media, whatever you want to call it. We're going to talk about the forerunners, the three forerunners that were here before, and then Amazon is just entered into the market with this little box right here. It's called the Fire TV, which just came out just yesterday. Got it, I did 24-hour shipping on it, and I've got it, and I've got this, I've got the controller and the game controller. So let's get started. Let's figure out which one you might want to get. All right, let's take a quick look at the unboxing of the Amazon Fire. Now, of course, this is the Fire TV and by Amazon, and the other part is the gaming console, the gaming joystick that is sold separately. Now, the Amazon Fire TV, it cut all the little areas that you needed to cut first. I'm showing you that right there. And I'm opening it up, and here we are, the Amazon Fire TV. It's a square box, not much to it. It and comes with the remote, it comes with the instructions, comes with the charger, and that's pretty much it for the connection. Of course, two AA batteries for the remote, which you can use and put into your remote and go from there. Here is what the box is. We did a little measuring. We did about 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches. And the height of it is something like not even an inch. I'd say about 3/4 of an inch at the most. So of course it came with all the film, and we had to take all the film off. But that's basically the whole item for the Fire itself. Now let's fast forward a little bit here, and we'll talk about the gaming system. First of all, I want to show you the ports on this. Here's the ports. You have the USB. You have the USB, you have the Ethernet, the optical audio, HDMI port, and then of course the power jack. There's nothing on any of the sides otherwise. There's no extra USB ports or anything like that that you can use and go from there. And that's basically for $99. That's what you get. You get the remote, you get the box, and the charger, and the instruction manual. Now let's flip forward and let's take a look at the game controller. Let's open that one up. As you can see, you get some batteries, you get a game controller, and of course instructions. We'll pull that out of the box and show you that there. You open it up in the back, you put the batteries in, and go from there. It looks like a standard game remote control with a pause, play, and fast forward and rewind buttons on the box, so it can be used as a remote control. It's very similar to the Xbox 360 in the button system. Now, the one thing that I did notice on the game controller here is the back looked awfully familiar, so I checked it with my Xbox 360, and the rechargeable batteries don't work on it. It looks like the controller, but it might not function. In fact, you probably can't even connect up your Xbox 360 controller into the Amazon. I haven't tried it yet. Maybe that's something I will do in the future here. But this is basically the game controller. It looks pretty straightforward. So if you're a big gamer, you've got the L1, L2, R1, R2 buttons, and of course the game controller buttons, and then the extra buttons all through here for full control. So of course I played the game with it, and graphics are awesome on this little box right here. Downloaded the game just fine, and I was able to play it. The training round, of course, I'm not one of those first-person shooter type game people, so I had a little bit of hard time trying to control back and forth. But what this box, let's talk about this box a little bit. Let's talk about what's in this box. This box has a quad-core processor in here and 2 gigabytes worth of memory, which basically quadruples almost all the other boxes out there for over-the-top television. Like I said, on the side we have the USB, we have the audio, the optical audio jack, although I really wish that they would also give us another option for audio, because I don't have any devices that have optical audio except for the TV itself, and I really wish they would have had some sort of alternative audio ports that I could hook it up to. But of course, DC, USB, and HDMI port right there, and the Ethernet jack. I'm glad they did wireless, because this is a wireless AC, but it's also wired, so you can hook it right up to your network and not have to worry about the wireless part. So a lot of apps come with it. I said when I was talking about it on my show on Tuesday, it said it has to come with apps, including Netflix, including Hulu Plus. It does do that. Connections just like they normally do. Put in your username, put in your password. The cool thing about the Fire TV, though, was it kind of knew who I was. I didn't have to put in any codes or, go to a website and type in a code like with the Roku to get it all started. It just knew who I was. The gaming is the biggest part of this system, because the game, unlike Roku games, they're just simple, card games or block games and stuff like that. This one can actually do some good rendering. And once again, I was playing some first-person shooter games, which looked pretty nice for what this. Not Xbox One nice, but definitely nice for somebody like me who doesn't really game all that much. One more thing, we'll talk about this remote really quick. Basically, on the top, it has a voice option. You hold down the button for a couple seconds, and then you talk into it whatever you want to go. You let go of the button, and of course, it'll stop listening for your voice, and it will find what you're looking for on the TV. And then, of course, there's the bigger concern that they kept saying, hook up your Kindle Fire to the Fire TV for the best action. And I don't have a Kindle Fire or Kindle Fire HD, so I'm really concerned that they're not going to be bringing out an Android app or an iOS app. Let's hope that that's the case. They'll actually be bringing that out, so I can do some extra remote control via app there. If I only have to go through the Kindle Fire, I'm not going to get a Kindle Fire just to control my Amazon Fire TV. It's not going to happen. So hopefully they'll come out with apps for that. But that's the Amazon Fire TV, the newest model of the 4. Next up is the Apple TV. It's the latest generation Apple TV that you can get from Apple, of course, and we're expecting this year to be the upgrade of Apple TV. So we'll see what this does, and we'll see what the Amazon Fire TV does to make this even better, and go from there. $99, once again, the same price point for the Apple TV. The Apple TV has a single core processor in it. They're using their A6 processor that they used in their older iPads and their older iPhones. Has only 512 megabytes of memory and no slot for expansion. They do have a USB port back here, but it's not for memory retention or anything like that. Has on the back, if we zoom in, we have the Ethernet port. Of course, we have the USB port. The USB port is right underneath the HDMI port, which is kind of tough, especially if you have a small USB drive that's a little bit bigger and would kind of get in the way of the HDMI cable. You also have the optical out, and of course the Ethernet jack. It also goes wireless or wired. This is an older model, a couple years old, so I think it's got the 802.11n in, not the AC, because that wasn't around at the time. And then of course a power port from there. The Apple TV itself runs a lot of different programs. It doesn't have Amazon Instant Video. It doesn't have Showtime. It doesn't have Watch ESPN. Some of the newer apps from there. Of course, it doesn't play games. It's mostly for movies, TV shows, and of course, catching your iTunes library. So if you've got a very big iTunes library, then the Apple TV might be the device that you want to get and go from there. But I'd still wait to see if there's any mention about upgrading this, because I'm guessing that they're going to be upgrading this Apple TV come this summer with one of their 64-bit chips. And even if they don't do the coprocessor in here, just the single processor, you'll find this thing get a real boost in power in the next couple months. So if you don't have one just yet, I'd wait a couple months. All right, next up is the Roku. I don't have the Roku 3, I have the Roku 2 XS, and the reason why is because they were very similar in everything that I decided not to do the upgrade. I was going to wait for Roku 4 or something like that to go from there. Now, there's a lot of great features when it comes to the Roku. The biggest one is the thousands of channels that you can get with Roku that you can't get with any of these. And they have a list basically of what the Amazon Fire TV can get and what Roku can get and what Chromecast and Apple TV can get. The only one that's not on the list that Fire TV gets is Bloomberg TV. Other than that, this will blow the fire away when it comes to channels and content to watch. We're starting with the HDMI, and above this is a micro SD card. I actually have an 8 gigabyte micro SD card in this Roku right here. So if I have tons of games and lots of content, pictures and video, I can put it right on this card, and I still have more than enough space to use it for caching out some of the movies that get downloaded. The audio, I can actually hook it up to a regular receiver that doesn't have an optical audio jack, and I kind of like that. Of course, Ethernet or wireless. So once again, this is also 802.11n because this was made before the AC standard, and then of course a power port as well. The Roku 3, it runs a dual-core processor, only has 512 megabytes of memory, and that was always a problem with that. With the 3 and the XS, they have the USB on the side and the micro SD, which I really enjoy, and go from there. I think the 3 actually has a dual-band antenna in there, so the 2 doesn't. But of course, I hook it up to the Ethernet jack because that's I think it's always been best performance. The Roku 2 XS, which I have, or the Roku 3, this is one of my favorites. And whenever we watch a movie or TV show, we watch it off of this right here. All right, last up is the little Chromecast that would. It's Google's Chromecast HDMI dongle here, and it's the smallest of the group. And it's definitely got the smallest footprint. You can plug it right in the back of the TV, and there's no extra buttons. There is a reset button. Yeah, there it is right there. And there is a USB, but the USB is not meant for anything more than power. So if you do not have USB on your TV to power it, because there are some TVs that use USB but don't have the ability to, if you plugged it in, it wouldn't send any power to the Chromecast at all. But other than that, with the Chromecast, this is what you get. You don't get a remote control. You use your phone's remote and you throw things from your Android phone, from your iPhone, or your iPad or Android tablet to the Chromecast. It works really well, and of course it's easy to pack. So if I was to go traveling, I might take the Chromecast with me so I can watch Hulu, so I can watch Netflix on the big screen. So that's the Chromecast. There's not much to it, but it's meant to be a small footprint. It's a single core processor. It's only got 512 megabytes worth of memory. It's a single band 802.11n. So once again, since there's no Ethernet jack, you might have some problems connecting from time to time. In fact, whenever this reboots, it has a hard time trying to find my network. And then it takes a few minutes and it finally realizes where it is. Once again, no remote at all. It also doesn't have Amazon Instant Video to it, and many other programs as well. It's brand new, so it's collecting as it's going, but it seems to be a slow collection and go from there. The price on it, though, is the best out of all of them, $35. Even with Roku and their brand new stick, which is only $50. This beats that out. And so for the price, like I said, it's a great device, especially in travel. You want to take it with you, and you don't want to sit there and reconfigure your settings so you can get to your Hulu and watch Hulu on a TV in a friend's guest room or something like that. This is the way to go. One more thing is the picture quality on this is not as great, I've found, than all three of these. Even though it says it does 1080p, I find that a lot of the time it'll actually go for the lower end quality video. And especially if it goes into 720p mode, it gets dark and a little bit blurry, and you can really tell the difference. In fact, I start watching stuff on Hulu on the Chromecast. I will turn around and hook up my Roku just to finish the show because of the quality of the picture on the Chromecast, even though I've told the settings to go at the highest possible. So here you go, you have 4 different systems. You have small and portable, no footprint, you can't see a thing, you hook it up behind your TV, you're good to go. You have the trustworthy, it's got iTunes, and if you have a big iTunes library, this is what you want to go to because it's Apple TV. This one's got all the apps. This one is the most recommended device out there because of as many apps that it has and the ability to do a little bit of gaming and a lot more. And now the new kid on the block, the Amazon Fire. Hook it up with your Prime. You can watch your movies, you can watch your TV shows, you can play your games. I was a little bit disappointed that Amazon didn't come out with a Kindle book reading app for the Fire TV. Maybe down the line a little bit more so you can check out a book, read it to your kids on the big screen, read books like a family on the big screen, and go from there. But the inside, the processor on here, the memory in here is what these devices should also have, and I can't wait to see how this changes the game for when these come out with new versions of their device. $99, $99, $99, $35. Of course, Roku comes in different styles from $50 to $99. One more thing I want to show you here really quick, and that's the load times on these. Amazon Fire took about 26 seconds to load. The Chromecast, about 35 seconds to load. Apple TV took about 30 to 40 seconds to load. The Roku, however, and this is the Roku 2 XS, took 1 minute and 20 seconds to reload or power up and get to the system from there. So the speed definitely goes into the faster processor Amazon Fire TV. When it comes to footprint, you got Chromecast. When it comes to apps, you've got Roku. When it comes to your iTunes library, you've got Apple TV. This is the problem, and this is why some of you even have more than one device, because no one device does everything that you need. And I know a couple of you out there have said, well, what about this box? There's a couple boxes up in Canada. I know Western Digital has an app-enabled box. I know there's a couple other boxes out there. These are the 4 main competitors out there right now, and as life goes on, we'll see some more streaming boxes, and I'll review them as they gain their popularity as well. Well, I hope that this gives you an idea of what is out there, which box you might want to take a look at, which box you would lean yourself towards. Do you have a lot of iTunes movies and TV shows? Do you want the thousands of apps that are out there so you can watch hours and hours of content? Do you not want an ugly box sitting underneath your TV? Or do you just want pure power and hook up to your Amazon Prime account and go from there? That's what these 4 boxes deliver, and of course I'll be continuing to review them as I go, which one I watch the most, which one I watch the least. You got questions, you got comments, which one's your favorite? Let me know. You can Twitter me over at Geekazine. Of course, geekazine@gmail.com is the email address, and just say, hey, I like this one over this one, I like this one over this one. If you have any questions, feel free on YouTube over at youtube.com/Geekazine. Leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe, and remember to like this video so other people can find it as easy as you have. All right, thanks a lot for watching. We will see you next time on Geekazine's special media feed. My name is Jeffrey Powers. You guys geek out and take care.